Does anyone have any questions? I do. I have one question. Sam,
Sure.
Did you write that book? Like, was that book written by you?
Yeah,
Who wrote the book?
It's Armen Torosyan, sure. Did you watch the movie?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Armen Torosyan.
Anyone else?
Good cast.
Oh, thank you.
Good cast.
Yeah.
Really good.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
I guess I just want to start by talking about a little bit of the process and what it was like for each one of us actors. I guess we can start with Natasha.
About
The process of playing Jessica.
well, it's definitely new.
Is
That's not working.
There's an on button.
Testing.
I can talk loudly. I'll just talk loudly.
Give her the mic.
Well, it was a new character for me. It was a challenge in that way. There was fight scenes that I hadn't done before by Corey Tomasek over there, and
Yeah.
choreographed everything, and it was a lot of fun. It was overall process.
Yeah. Well, I'll go last, I guess. With you.
Okay. Yeah, for me this was my first movie. So and I really have to thank Eddy for trusting me enough to give me the supporting role. It was a movie that it was very important for me to do because it in a way does raise awareness about the Armenian genocide. Close to 2 million people were massacred by the Turkish government, and anything that we can do to raise awareness about that, so they can finally admit to the atrocities that they committed. I'm just really glad to be part of that for that great cause. As for me, I found a lot of similarities between me and my character because I'm in life a person who likes the truth, and I think that this character helped me just. Well, first of all, I didn't know much about the Armenian genocide, so I had to do some research on that subject, and I also needed to prepare for that role. So the director here made me watch 2 movies to just have a kind of sorry idea of how a journalist journalist life is. So yeah, so that was a process, and as I said before, the character was very, very nice to play because I saw myself within this character also.
I guess I'll start from an actor's point of view. To be honest, I really didn't want to play in this film. I didn't see myself as any of the characters. So after Phil, our producer, convinced me to take the role of Sociopath, I decided to go forward. I saw the character. Obviously, the character is a lot older than I am. So I mean, apart from the makeup advancements, I decided to transform weight-wise, and I think it was necessary for someone who was injured throughout the majority of the film to look the part. As for speaking from a director's point of view, I mean, it is a feature film, so it has taken 2.5 years of my life and our lives. It is a very long process, and with this film I try to find a genuine balance between informing the people about historical facts with a contemporary story. So it was important also to engage people in that sense, because anyone can watch a documentary about the Armenian genocide. That was not my intent. And in my case, I do not see this as simply an Armenian genocide film. I see this film telling the story of Armen Torosyan, writing about it, but also about how the sociopath regains control of his guild throughout the process.
Eddie, how long did it take you to write the script? How long research and development and?
Actually, I started writing it when I was flying to Australia, and yeah.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah. I mean, 15-hour flight gives you a lot of time to reflect about characters. Believe it or not, this was, I think, the 9th or 10th draft that you saw on screen. It took a lot of revisiting the script, and I myself like to leave the script alone and then revisit it. Contrary to other people who like to just finish everything and move forward with the project. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty long process to write just a script for this feature film.
Anyone else?
I got a question.
Shoot.
What would be the total amount of film time that was taken? As obviously this is the cut down version, but have you got an amount of time of footage that would have had to have been shot to get to this point?
Yeah, the rough cut, the first rough cut, was actually around 2 hours and 3 minutes. Right now it's 1 hour and 41. So a lot of my scenes had to be cut out because I found that it does slow the process a lot more. And I'm not, as you saw from the editing style, I do not usually get endeared by many of the Canadian films you see nowadays, whose pace is quite slow. Although this is still a dramatic thriller, I decided to do the editing style a lot more fast-paced, and that's why it feels kind of shorter, in my opinion. Though I find people do disagree with me sometimes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any other movies in motion?
Yeah, currently we're working on the sequel, Sociopath's Guild.
Really?
It was supposed to be a surprise announcement.
Surprise.
Surprise. Yeah, it's going to be called the Libertas Ascends, and we're going to have a first draft sometime at the end of this year. But the other films, I have 2 short films that I've written for. One is called No, Mr. Mayor, which is a political comedy short. And the second, at the moment, it's called Wheel of Treachery. And that's going to be a dramatic short.
Anyone else?
Did the characters' roles change very much from the time you started shooting to the end?
Good question. Yes.
How?
I'm not going to name the actors, but from time to time, obviously, there's scheduling conflicts, so we decided to kill most of them off pretty quickly. Or just to cut more of them. I wasn't referring to Joanne, by the way. She's not giving me the dirty look. No, I mean, and sometimes, I mean, these things do happen. I decided not to cut people out from the film entirely, instead just have them showing. Most people, especially in Hollywood films, would actually not care to give people screen time. Because at the end of the day, no matter what my personal views are on how artistically it should look, I do believe in rewarding the ones who gave their time to be on the screen, and the least I could do is to let them appear on screen.
Anyone else? Question?
Yeah, well, what made you decide to film a movie?
That's a tricky question, because if I count correctly, this is the 7th project, counting my student films. But it is my 2nd feature, and I've been told many, many times, including at school, I am a crazy person. So I like doing work while I'm at school, and apart from video editing, I do like also very much and enjoy just creating and shooting film. I mean, I think it's a lost medium right now in Canada for the last 10 years, obviously due to the Harper cuts, but more specifically, I mean, it seems like in Canada specifically, we've drifted apart, Canadian filmmakers, I mean, and everyone seems to be in their own bubbles, and it's understandable. I mean, everyone has stuff to do in their lives, but I mean, what I've noticed compared to other cities in the United States, in England, and Australia is that if we need to have a surviving and thriving industry in Canada, we do need to come together.
How was it for the other actors up there, other than Eddy, who played Jessica, Mike, and Armen, to act with the director at the same time?
Would you like to start, Rigas?
Well, as a director, he's very patient, and he always pushes us, you know, to give our best. So in that aspect, it was good because you always knew that you would really get pushed to do the best that you can do. But of course, it was you know, a little bit awkward in the beginning because he's the director, and you know, you're acting with him, but you know, after a while, it gets you get used to it, and it was actually it was a great experience acting with him. Yeah.
Because all of my scenes were pretty much inside the hotel, and they all look alike. So maybe I could say that my best days were the ones that are the most challenging. So yeah, that's all I can say. I can't say more.
Best day.
He can't even answer his own question.
I know. I'm at a loss at my own question, really. The thing is, I really don't like watching myself on screen. So when I was editing, I always keep my scenes to the last. I just can't stand it. That's why most of the, like, today I really bear with you guys. I only went out once. But the best scene for me, I would say, is a tie between the hub scenes, which is near the beginning. It's the long action sequence that you see, and I'm in the hub with the computers giving orders, and killing Shadow Arm and all those folks. And the other one is probably the longest in our production process, was with Rigas. Right after that happens, when I tell him, you know, you're done. That scene in the hotel room where I kind of barge on him and have a gun pointing at him, and I say, have a seat and all that. I'm sure you remember what scene I'm talking about near the beginning. That was fun, although it was, I think that day was like a 17-hour day, literally,
Yeah.
and I was just relying on getting it done, really. Any other questions?
Anyone else?
Yeah, Joanne, what was the first, what was your fear when you had that part?
Oh, him for Eddy to change my lines because I had, you know, several lines, and I'm like, please God, I don't want him to put like one different word. You know, it was my first feature, you know, my biggest film, my biggest role. So yeah, what he did, he added more words. I'm like, I'm sweating in the car. The windows were all up, so that was pretty challenging, and it, you know, it was a blast once it was finished. It was like 12 takes. I think I lost like 20 pounds. But yeah, he did push me to, you know, becoming a better actress, I guess. Challenging, so yeah.
I guess we can ask the same question to everybody else. What was your fear?
My fear?
Oh yeah, how about we answer the question, what's your biggest fear on set?
Oh,
Well, I guess for me, it's I'm trying to connect with the character. I'm trying to get to her heart, and so for me, it's that I don't quite get there. You never really get there, but I was trying to come as close as possible, and so I guess for me it was that I didn't come close enough before we shot. So that was my fear before shooting.
In my case, losing focus and forgetting my lines, obviously, because as some of you know, I'm an insomniac, so sleep is a challenge for me. So relying on whatever energy I've conserved after like the 14th hour, and typically what I like doing is I like doing my scenes after everybody else's is done, like my shots and everything, so that they could leave a lot earlier while I stay behind for my stuff. So those were the two biggest fears. And me on set, I'm always thinking the worst case scenario. I'm sure all of you know who were with me on set. I'm always referring to Murphy's Law. What could absolutely go wrong, and it will go wrong. And sometimes, I don't want to say most of the time, it did go wrong.
My biggest fear as an actor is just to not be able to give my 100%. I'm scared to not be believable on screen or credible, and it's tough to do that because in a day like 17 hours shoot, it's very difficult to keep the same intensity all the time. But I guess this is our life. We have to do it, and but when I watch myself after and see some stuff that I don't really like, yeah, I just remember the fear that I had during the shooting, and that's really my biggest fear, not be believable. And of course it happened, but this is part of an actor's experience throughout his life.
In my case, it's just not living up to the expectations of the director, because he's the one who puts his trust in me to do what he's telling me to do, and just my biggest fear is not living up to that expectation.
Anyone else?
What's the
Like film festival?
Yes, a specific question. Okay. At the moment, I mean, we have the film will be playing at the Pomegranate Film Festival in November, and the Los Angeles International Film Festival in July, I think end of July. Typically, the normal route would be to have it in as many film festivals as possible, but what I've noticed throughout the years is that it's not always an effective strategy because it doesn't guarantee success in the terms of selling your film to an online distributor. So we're going to go directly through online distribution, and obviously the biggest objective is to get it on Amazon Video on Demand and Netflix finally. I think that's every filmmaker's dream, really. And someone asked me the other day, why don't you just play it in cinemas for a week? Obviously, looking at today, that would not be very, I guess, guaranteed. Because in indie film, we call that four-walling, where we rent out a cinema for a week and see how it does. Of course, on the first day or two, it will generate sales, but other than that, it will drift away if you're not like a celebrity with 10 million followers or 10 million YouTube views.
Anyone else?
Would Sam and Natasha come back for number 2 if you were offered?
I like the if you were offered.
Sure, yeah, that's not, we haven't talked about that. I guess we'll talk about that.
You can start negotiating salary now.
Or if she's still alive in the second one.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think. I told him, if you want me to come back, you kill me in the first minute.
Way to ruin the suspense. Well, I can ask a question to the actors here on stage with me. How would you define your character, and how would you define, actually 3 questions at the same time. How would you define your character, how would you define yourself as an actor, and how do you relate yourself to the character that you portrayed on screen? I guess we can start with Rigas.
My character, I would define him as inexperienced at what he does. He doesn't have much experience. He seems to fail a lot, but he's determined to pull through. And as an actor, you get rejected. It's a roller coaster ride, and I could relate to that to my character because I'm determined to pull through and hopefully make something out of it. Even though you have to deal with rejection and inexperience, but that's the aspect that I can relate to with my character.
And did you drive the motorbike?
No, I didn't actually.
Stunt doubles are there for a reason.
Yeah, it was. I didn't do that. I would have liked to, but
you could have at least said you took motorcycle classes and rode it just for the fun of it.
I could have.
Yeah, I think I talked about this before. As I said, this Armen Torosyan character is pretty close to myself because in life, and Eddy knows me, I'm the kind of person who really likes to show people the truth, whatever it is, politically, everything that has to do with eating healthy, everything that, I'm a guy of also principles, and I'm gonna say like the line in the movie, I'm really ready to do whatever it takes to get the truth out. So that's what I said, that's how I feel in reality, and that's how I roll.
Yeah, let's start a revolution. Okay, as the sociopath, to many people he's a confounding character. I mean, at the beginning, I like how you see in the film, throughout the majority of the film rather, as him being portrayed as the main antagonist, the villain, so to speak. And then you find out that it's not the case because of his biological connection. Spoiler alert for those who are probably sleeping. He is biologically connected to Armen Torosyan. Apart from that, I would describe the sociopath as someone who's been dealt a hand and doing the best he can, no matter what the consequences are, to deal with the problems in front of him. And it's pretty extreme how he deals with it sometimes. And he's not afraid to take lives in the process, actually, even if it's the guild initiates or members. I relate to the sociopath in the sense that he's someone who's stoic in a way. He carries his emotions by hiding them, and I do relate to him a lot actually in that aspect, and that's what I attempted at doing while portraying him. He's also someone who's not very easily readable. You can never tell what the guy's thinking or what he's about to do. I mean, if you've seen most of my films, many people die in the film, so you can kind of tell. But if this was your first film of mine that you've seen, sorry if I shocked you by the amount of violence, but it is what it is. But yeah, the sociopath is a very violent person because of his past, and I think he carries himself quite gallantly, actually, throughout the process as he's leading the guild to victory, and we'll see what happens in the sequel.
I'm gonna need you to repeat the questions.
The questions were, how would you describe your character, how would you describe yourself, and how do you relate to your character specifically?
Well, Jessica is been through a lot. Her life changed dramatically when she was 18. So her view on what is right or what is wrong is not exactly what everyone else's might be. Her life is really a fight for survival all the time. So that is what dictates a lot of her actions and choices, and at the same time she is very loyal to her family, which would be the Sociopath Guild, and that's what I think of as far as Jessica. As far as myself goes, I don't know how to answer that. Who am I?
I guess you don't want to talk about yourself.
Well, I don't. That's a very good question. There are aspects of Jessica that I could relate to, as in her tenacity, her dedication to different tasks, yeah, but there's also a lot of areas that I couldn't relate to, and that's what was the challenge, and that's what I liked about it.
Do you want to answer?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I really enjoyed my character Eva, because I did spend 5 years in the fields trying to give information and delivering that information to Armen. He was pretty amazed with the information I did give him, and hopefully, he went forward to everything I conveyed to him on screen. And about me, I'm serious about acting. I do, I don't feel like an actress, but when they say rolling, I'm in character, and whatever, I listen to the director and, what he tries to take out of me. I'm enthusiastic and, fun on screen. That's it.
Any other question? No? Is there a question the actors would like to ask each other? Come on, Rigas, you can do it. Rigas, want to ask me something? Anybody else? Yeah, everyone's getting tired. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it once again. I hope you liked the film. Obviously, you're still here, which means you must have. And if you have any questions or criticisms, we're all ears after this session. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support.
So